Battlefield 6 Season 2 is finally here, and with it we get this awesome new map called Contaminated. For those of you that want a quick breakdown, it is a very diverse map with tight quarters inside the mountain and long ranges with a lot of cover on the outside. The engagement ranges are longer, the elevation is greater, and I believe this is the best breakthrough experience in all this game has so far. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This map is still just medium sized. The breakthrough areas have narrow shoulders, limiting mountain access for long flanks, and for some reason, there's no rush, team deathmatch, king of the hill, or domination on this map. A map without rush is a map that's missing a big piece of Battlefield. But let's talk breakthrough. On any new map, this is the first thing I always play. I love me some attack and defend game modes, and this one does not disappoint. Coming down the hill as the attacking team just hits you right in the heart as a classic Battlefield fan. You can descend on either side, the snipers can just sit back and peek down to the objective, enemy snipers can hide in the trees on the side. It's great. We even have ditches and rubble for loads of cover in the objective area. This section has several destructible houses, and although it does have tight shoulders, it's fun. A well-separated team pushing from multiple sides will manage to break through this first objective with ease, which is a good thing. This is the most true breakthrough experience. There are a total of 5 sectors. That's more than any other map in Battlefield 6. This, paired with a spread out, larger map, leads to that nostalgic, long 35+ minute rounds we love so much. This is not a 7-sector Iwo Jima, but for what we've gotten in Battlefield 6 so far, it's good. Sector 2 continues to 2 objectives. One inside and one outside. A is the outside objective in this rubble covered area. It's fairly open, but if you crouch or prone, you're basically covered in all directions. At this part of the match, I notice how long the engagements are on average. Outside, we're engaging at 40+ meters, where most engagements fall between that 40 to 70 meter range. There are no complaints here. The engagement distances are a little bit longer. Also, the in-world spotting changes are awesome. In this footage, notice how little people appear from a greater distance actually spotted in-world. I think this is a good change. Also, subscribe if you want to see a video where we discuss actual changes now that it's out and we can thoroughly discuss them based on, what they actually changed instead of just having them read for you. The B objective in Sector 2 is the tunnel, and this is a close quarters heaven. The tunnel itself is about 60 meters long, about 20 meters wide, but it's not about the tunnel here, it's about the flank. Both sides of the tunnel have even flanks on either side. You can come from above and around or below and around. Straight from A to B in the middle, and none of these passages show on the minimap as routes. It's deceiving how many areas are packed into the small section of this map, and this comes into play heavily in Conquest and Escalation, which we will discuss later on, because you get a little bit more area to move in than you do in Breakthrough. Remember, Breakthrough is a little bit more restricted with narrow shoulders. What I mean is you cannot get on top of the mountain like you can in Conquest, which we will discuss a little bit further later on. Sector 3 is a tough one. I think this will be modified in the future because my first 5 games, no one made it past this sector. I don't mind losing on attack, let the best team win, but I don't see them letting Sector 3 end this many games. We have 2 inline objectives. B is the hangar further back, and A is literally an open area. Snipers get up on the mountain on either side, peeking in. Tanks run around the objectives, and infantry flood the middle, just pushing the line. We move from an open town area to outside trees and roads and inside a bunker, and now we're fighting over an open field. This map offers a lot of variety. For this sector, it's a little meat grindy. Assault, place your spawn beacons as far back into the enemy territory as possible and keep the front lines pushing. You have to break through the enemy lines pretty much by brute force here. If you manage to make it to the 4th sector, you are greeted with a military base. A is in a hangar for jets in a small valley where enemies line the sides, and B is within the confines of the base itself. It's surrounded by cover on basically every side. Also, strangely enough, this map hangs a hard right here and changes the direction and flow of the mode. I did not spend as much time on this section as I did the third. This sector seems to be a little bit faster than Sector 3, where that usually slowed down the flow of the map a lot. Sector 5 is a tight single objective, bringing the battle to its final convergence, inside a bunker. You're basically in a tight valley, fighting enemies back and keeping them off long enough to take the objective. It's tight, with not many flanking routes. Overall, this map offers a converging design with a lot of diversity, long and short ranges with open areas and tight quarters. Seriously, this might be the most Battlefield breakthrough experience in the game. Conquest. What is Battlefield without Conquest? This map is a 6-flag layout, with each team having 2 gimme flags and fighting over C and D for most of the match. Just like Breakthrough, this offers everything. A in Conquest is shared with Sector 1 in Breakthrough, so we won't talk much about it here, but B is literally an uphill battle. This is almost the tallest point in the map. Fights outside of B can get very vertical, with the objective itself being inside a bunker. This objective doesn't have much in terms of flanks, but it does have several entrances. But we all know a lot of fighting is going to happen at the C tunnel. Just like Breakthrough, it's going to offer all of those same routes, but here you can actually climb up over the mountain and come in from behind, which you cannot do in Breakthrough, as we discussed earlier. They cut the mountain access. Having the ability to vertically climb the mountain and enter from basically 6 different areas is pretty crazy. C trades hands often. D is the outside objective at Sector 2 in Breakthrough, but here we get a larger exterior section allowing for routes behind the hills, and D to A gets those nice middle long-range encounters you come to expect with Battlefield. And remember the comment about spotting. You need to be careful. As mentioned, most of the encounters are between the 40 and 70 meter range outside, and the spotting range was reduced to about 50 meters, which means that a lot of the outside encounters are with non-spotted enemies. You have to take a moment and look through the trees and find movement. This map, this update, really forces you to slow down and look, because you can easily miss enemies in the trees. E and F are the third sector of Breakthrough, just relocated a little. E is the hangar. It's not flank heavy, but with large openings on either side, you can get shot from basically anywhere. And F is the least protected area, but it's covered with trenches. Real warfare. Oh yeah, I still can't fly more than 10 seconds, but after about 15 I crash anyway, so there's that. I'll leave the flying input to someone else. Escalation obviously uses the same section, but with 7 objectives converging into 3 areas. These areas are slightly different than Conquest, with C being the only actual shared objective between Conquest and Escalation. A is moved slightly with the same area just being in a different house. B is also moved from the inside of the building to the outside of the building. C offers the same area as Conquest and is used heavily, just as in Conquest. The major difference lands in D, which for Escalation is massive. Endgame is played here and at C, this area where tanks can fight it off and infantry move around trying to knock each other's tanks out. This area is large and difficult to hold. It's always contested, and towards the end of the battle it becomes pretty hectic, with a lot of people converging at this point. During the meat and bones of the match, this objective is fairly left alone because it's kind of outside, but D is pretty interesting. I think it's the largest objective in all of Battlefield 6. The final mode we can play on this map is Squad Deathmatch. I won't spend any real time here as it's in the Conquest and Escalation C objective, the tunnel, the bunker area. It's very tight for Squad Deathmatch. It's fun, but really only for SMGs and shotguns. It's really fast paced, tight with a lot of elevation. There's basically like 4 stories total here between the tunnel and then all of the levels that lead up to the top. But I still find it very strange that the other important modes are not here. Team Deathmatch, Rush, Domination, King of the Hill. I'm not so mad about King of the Hill, but Rush is something that needs to be in basically every map. They added it back to one of the maps that I can't remember right now, but this map needs to have Rush. Oh yeah, there's also Strike Point. If you want to see what Season 2 changes actually do versus just hearing someone read you the patch notes, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be reviewing each of those notes and then actually showing and discussing the differences that it makes in-game, from the sliding nerf to the increase recoil on some weapons to the decreased recoil on some weapons, once we can actually experience them like we can now. This is true fact-based feedback, not super negative, preemptive, I hate this feedback. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe for more Battlefield content just like these.